So now that we've identified that there is a problem, let's talk about ways to solve it. Okay. Edward Barr, who writes for the Arizona Bar Magazine and Student Revolution Magazine, talks about ways that marches and protest demonstrations can be effective in looking for ways to make a change. Protest marches bring awareness to issues and cannot go unnoticed when there's millions of people. Time magazine highlights two important historical marches that have happened. The Civil Rights March of 1963 led a march from the Washington Monument to the Lincoln Memorial. The gathered masses stood peaceably for hours in the stifling August heat as musicians and orators argued for equal rights for African Americans, and really all minorities. Thanks to powerful words from civil rights champions, including Martin Luther King Jr. in his famed "I Have a Dream" speech, the march went down in history as the most convincing event in the movement that led to the successful passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. That's a picture of the Civil Rights Movement. And then another example of a successful march was the March Against the Vietnam War in 1969, when more than 500,000 people marched from Washington to protest U.S. involvement in the war. The protests successfully proved that anti-war movements compromised more than just youth, and the November rallies were an important string of demonstrations that took place around the world, from San Francisco to Boston and London, petitioning for peace. Why I think a march would work at Cal Poly is if we organize a march during a Minute Students Weekend, similar to the way that the faculty are trying to strike. It would create awareness, just as Jackson mentioned before, that some students are considering not coming to Cal Poly because of the dining plan. If all of us have signs and posters and are making it clear that the dining is an issue here, it would deter students, and the faculty would have to look at the campus dining issue. There would be no choice if there's a potential for students to not come to Cal Poly because of it. Along with a march, we can post ads in Mustang News and write editorials expressing our dislike of the campus dining program. The Mustang News advertising team on their website claims that they're made up of 10 to 15 students, consultants of all majors, and they're here to help us with on-campus organizations, and they want us to have our voice in the newspaper. If we all write letters to Mustang News expressing our satisfactory experience with the dining plan, and eventually it goes on social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, it would be everywhere. Awareness would be out there. And it's super easy to write to Mustang News. There's advertising at mustangnews.net is the email, and they're here for the specific reason of bringing awareness to issues. The next one is we just had the UU referendum where all of us were able to vote and put our voice in the fact that we don't want a new UU. But we can do the same thing with campus dining if we work with ASI. Like Eli someone here gave us the definition of a referendum before, but it's basically a vote by the people where a student body get the opportunity to voice their opinion on an issue and a confidential ballot. This is according to the national government and Merriam-Webster. We could have our own referendum where we vote for the fact that we want to increase fees to get better campus dining, on-campus dining, if that's something that we want to do, and ASI is here to help us with that. Lastly, this might sound crazy, but we can boycott campus dining. We each have about $1,000+, give or take a few hundred, that we can put towards campus market and village market, and we can make our own food in the dorms with our microwaves. So, websites like, so to boycott, in case you're not clear what that means, from vocabulary.com, it means to stop buying or using the goods or services of a certain company or country as a protest. So this noun actually comes from Charles C. Boycott, who was an English land agent in the 19th century Ireland who refused to reduce rent for his tenant farmers, and as a result, the local residents did not want to have anything to do with him and stopped renting from him. So boycotts are an effective way to use your spending dollars to affect change. So, I'm really excited about this idea. Websites like BuzzFeed, Healthy Eats, and Instagram bloggers like Roxy Fitness, who is a fellow college student, have plenty of articles on healthy food that you can make inside of your dorm room. From oatmeal, which you can just heat up in the microwave using a bowl and hot water in the morning for breakfast, or keeping yogurt in your fridge, or making breakfast sandwiches by cooking bacon with the microwave and scrambled eggs in a little bowl, to lunch options like turkey sandwiches or baked potatoes that you can microwave. There's so many things that you can make with a microwave, and you don't have to go to Metro. The point here is if you spend your plus dollars at Campus Market and Village Market instead of Metro, Metro is going to become Metro is spending money on food that it's expecting you to buy, and if we don't buy that money and Metro continues to spend money, it's going to become impossible for them to ignore the fact that no one is going to Metro. It will hurt the university, it will hurt dining plan, but you'll still be full because you'll be cooking in your dorm room. So these are all some ideas of things that you can do to basically hurt Metro or hurt VGs by not spending your money there, but still getting the nutrition that you need. So, in conclusion, campus dining has a lot of issues. It's making some good efforts in increasing the health and nutrition of its plan, but there needs to be more of a change. Marches, protests, not going to Metro or VGs are ways that we can get awareness to the issue and raise our voice, and hopefully this will affect change in the campus dining program.